Hey, good morning.
Good morning. All right, our mic is live, so we're going to get started. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining the ACA Small Business Bootcamp and Resource Collective for this Tuesday morning. Please hang with us. We're going to let everybody join in the Zoom app, and then we'll get started. So please hang tight, and we will start in one moment. All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining the ACA Small Business Bootcamp and Resource Collective for this Tuesday, August 18th. We're excited to be here. I am Robert Theobald, Small Business Ombudsman and Vice President of Small Business Resources at the Arizona Commerce Authority. I want to first start by thanking all of our community partners. This is just a short list. You can't fit everybody on one screen, but we have had a huge support from our community, from businesses throughout the community that want to help share content and information to help small businesses throughout Arizona. The Small Business Bootcamp is a program that has been designed to help support small businesses of 20 or less, even though it's most of the stuff applies to even larger businesses. But it's to help those businesses work through the COVID crisis and emerge stronger than ever. It is a statewide initiative supported by those community partners. And it is, as the boot camp ran daily for many weeks, and is now through August and into September, will run 2 days a week. Right now in August, we are running Tuesdays and Fridays with some special sessions on Mondays. So the boot camp, the previous sessions can be found on our website and the link to register for upcoming sessions. We are on, I believe it is in our mid 60s, high 60s in the number of sessions we've done so far. So all those previous sessions are available to you. You can review them, whether it's marketing, safety, leadership, business fundamentals. There's a lot of information on there that can help support your business as you work this time. And you can find that at azcommerce.com/small-business-boot-camp. Additionally, on that same site, you will find a link to our resource collective. This is a website with all the different resources that our community partners have provided to help support your business. Some of those things include on there, here's a list of the guides and resources you can find on the resource collective. And these guides range from retail to construction to salons to restaurants. So it's a great resource for you. Also included on there is a link to the many grants that many of the communities have available. Additionally, you'll find on our website the information for this week's topic. So this week we have session 71, the 5 pillars of digital success. And on Friday we have restoring consumer confidence upon reopening. Gonna be 2 great sessions. Just some quick updates. The Small Business Rent and Mortgage Relief Grant that was announced last week. This is the link to it. You can find it at Local First Arizona. They are managing this grant for the state. Additionally, the Maricopa County Small Business Grant has their application window for version 2.0 has opened up yesterday. So you can find that at the azfoundation.org is running that grant for the county. And then still available is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program available through the SBA. That program is still available. The advance is not, but the loan is available if you're still looking for a low interest loan to help you get through this period. Also, just want to do a quick reminder for the state's COVID-19 information resources at arizonatogether.org. And then for all things related to business during COVID-19, you can access our website, azcommerce.com/COVID-19. So some of the small business programs that are available through the ACA to help support your business is our small business services. And we can help support navigating through the SBA, working with the small business development centers, the SBDCs, with SCORE, with local banking, local banks, and other issues or challenges you may face. Our workforce division can help work if you're looking to hire or train your employees. There's many programs that they can help provide and support you with. And then our Arizona MEP is our manufacturing extension partnership, and they're a national leading program for manufacturers, and it's a great resource for you. So one of the tools that's available for small business out there is a small business checklist. We provide that on our website, azcommerce.com/smallbiz. And it is a resource if you're looking to start a business or grow your business, to know the resources, licensing, registration requirements at the local, state, and federal levels. So today's speaker, we have Brittany Cunningham. She's the head of learning and development. We'll learn with IntraEdge. She's got a great presentation in a different format than we've seen in the past. So we are excited to have her present here with us. It's gonna be very interactive. So we will go ahead and turn the time over to Brittany. And Brittany, it's all yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Robert. Yeah, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Brittany with Learn from IntraEdge. My background was in higher education, and then I went to work at Facebook and worked with them for quite a while, and then came to IntraEdge and worked with my partner Copal under our CEO Cal to develop a learning agency under our tech recruitment company. And so we have a variety of clients from Facebook to American Express to Trio and medical providers. And we create both corporate learning and workforce development programs. That being said, now I'll start the presentation that or course that we've developed. I'm also going to put this in the chat so that I can't see the chat right now. Let me stop sharing, and I'll share the chat so that you can all follow along with me. This is an actual online course which will be available to you. And so if you missed anything in the presentation, you can just go through the course on your own time, which also has links to resources that are mentioned in the course. And let's get started. So there are 5 digital pillars, and the first one is web presence. We can review the 5 digital pillars as web presence, digital marketing, monetization, audience, and data privacy. These are 5 things that I've identified as being crucial, particularly for a small business and during this time, especially if you've been in person and are starting to transition to online. You know, what is your web presence? And I want to just give you advance notice that this course was developed for those that are at a base or introductory knowledge and expands on that. So for some of you, this information is things you already know, but we do recognize there are a lot of folks that they operate business in person and spend a lot of time on the web. And so we want to make sure that they have the foundations of web presence and these topics. So obviously the web presence includes your website. It also includes your social media presence on a variety of platforms. Web presence includes a browser search and search engines. It includes digital advertising, which also includes email campaigns. So the thing about web presence is it's actually often the first introduction a customer or person has to your business, and it communicates your brand. So it's important to think about your web presence from a holistic perspective and how your audience can or will engage with your business in various ways, meaning that they don't just see you as who you are in person or even just your website. They see you as, you know, who you are on a variety of channels, meaning Google, either if you're on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So when you're developing that web presence, think about how that presence looks and feels across those channels and ensure that there's a level of consistency. You communicate who you are, and don't think of them segmented ways per se in terms of like communicating what it is that you are as a culture and what you offer in terms of product and services. So, you know, there are a lot of reasons to have a website. I know people, they have social media pages, they may have an Instagram, but the reality is that the website creates a home base and also has a lot of also important aspects that social media can't, you know, can't help you with. Like a website will help engine optimization, for instance, because it has, you know, a dedicated URL. A dedicated has content that is yours, and it's like a home base for all the information you want to host. So it essentially, this is the most important place to relay information about your business. You know, a lot of people might stay away from developing a website because you need a web developer, or it might be expensive, or it's overly complex. Fortunately, we have these web hosting companies now, such as Squarespace, Wix, GoDaddy, and Bluehost are hosting companies, and also WordPress as well. And the great news is they offer products and services with robust features for just a low monthly fee. And so whereas before you used to have to pay inordinate amounts of money to do complex things such as e-commerce or scheduling, all of these things are now integrated in these hosting companies, and they come with stylish websites or a template that you can choose from. And also you probably all have seen, like, the templates are kind of geared towards the best. So meaning you can plug and play your, integrate the feature. Like Squarespace honestly is what you call WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get, when you just select the feature you want to offer and you put the content or the information that you will need, you know, your customers to know or to activate against. And you can also integrate other apps like MailChimp, Google, Facebook. And what that enables you to do is that enables you to automate your online experience. So when we want to talk about brand and design, because it is actually so important, when you're competing against other businesses, brand and design really, you know, communicates the professionalism of who you are as a business. And it also raises the perception of your product or services and the culture. It is your identity. You know, like if you are a business that is, you know, has a really funky personality or a fun personality, you don't want to, you know, move away from that. You just want to find the best way to visually express it. So when I was growing up in Chicago, for instance, Ed DeBev was my favorite small business. It's known for their sassy waitresses and their 50s retro diner. And so everything about their brand was, and the things that they posted and shared, you know, relayed that culture and created online a sense of community. So I still follow them on Facebook and on Twitter. I don't go to their website. I do if I need to. But that's what you want to do, is if you are a personality in this space, in this area, show your personality, show your brand, because that's actually what differentiates you among competition. So, you know, obviously, like when we talk about design, you should have a company logo, a collateral, and a website, and that's what factors and influences how people recognize and receive your brand. So, you know, if you haven't had a logo designed, if I invest anything, invest in a designer to just at bare minimum create a logo, create brand colors to make sure that, you know, all of this, your brand is consistent with typography across all your channels. User experience is a huge part of the web experience. And so it's important to think clearly about the information site needs to present and what you'd like your customers to do and how they feel about that process. So we want to avoid situations where your customers are having to Google search or go through 9 or 12 links just to get the information that they want. And preparing that content in advance is like a critical part of thinking about their user experience. And so just simply outlining what you want them to know, what you want to do, and then also start thinking what they may be looking for and where they will find it. when you're thinking about planning that content and the pages, make sure that any of these actions that they can link to would happen in 5 steps or less. They say that the average internet user has the patience of about 2 seconds to find information. They don't give you a lot of, and in many instances, they might go to their website or business to find information. So user experience is critical to ensuring that they with you and find the information that they need. As if it becomes exhaustive or laborious, they might go to your competition. So one easy way to ensure that experience is going to run smoothly is creating a sitemap. And it's basically a sitemap that it's a tool to map out what content would be on each page and how a user would navigate through your site. So you want to think about not only like how each page is going to navigate, think about how it fits to the experience, and user experience also includes the colors, the graphics, and images to help direct their eye or bring attention to a section or direct them where to go. As just a little fun fact, placing an image of a human next to an area or location that you want people to focus on increases the likelihood they'll look at that section. Humans like looking at other humans, so I always think that's kind of funny. Essentially, like any time you want to target or direct their attention to really important information, think about color, like, you know, bright colors or images that will be captivating. You can use the tools such as glue maps, which is a mapping tool to easily sitemap out your website. So that brings us to social media, which is a huge part of your web presence. There are 2.7 billion social media users on the internet today. So what social media enables you to do that your website can't do is engage with a diverse audience and expand your reach beyond your locale. So to give you some examples, there are a lot of women in India right now that are making a lot of money sell their like dresses and specialized things that they create, and their audience is global. And so what's really interesting is their Facebook sell like the special, you know, the really fancy dresses that they make, and what's really interesting about that is that, you know, they started in a very small location, and just using Facebook, there was an Indian woman that built a business, and now she has 30 employees. So as a small business, because of the social media platform, you don't have to just about who is around you in your location. Now you have the ability, in some instances, if you're selling a product, to expand it beyond, you know, just the Phoenix metro area. As another example, I mentioned from Chicago, Portillo's. I actually have had, and Lou Malnati's, I've had hot dogs shipped from Chicago, which that's actually a thing, which seems like it shouldn't be a thing, but it is a thing where you can have hot dogs shipped from Chicago. But people who, like, you know, have a specialization in their locality, like Phoenix is known for certain things, you know, you can ship that all over the world, theoretically. So this enables you to be able to connect and build a larger audience. You know, obviously Facebook is one of the largest social media platforms in the world. It has 2.7 billion users globally and an abundance of products and features to engage customers and relay your information and brand and reach new people. So Facebook now thinks of itself as a suite of products. We know Facebook to be the thing that everyone has been using for a while, but it also owns Instagram, Messenger, and WhatsApp. And so within those suite of products, there are many ways to engage and build your business. And each one has a distinct user experience and features that engage with audiences differently. So for instance, Facebook pages and groups enable companies to relay the information, share events, and create community both publicly and privately. Whereas Facebook Messenger is often used to respond to customers or people inquiring about your business, or chats to relay facts or information in a more personal, direct way. You know, as an example, a small business, when I had gone, we hadn't planned a trip to Europe and I wasn't able to connect. I had to get my dog to the pound, or the place where I was going to board, and they weren't answering their phone. And so I actually messaged them on Messenger, and fortunately, they got the message and helped me, and I was able to get him in last minute. And that's an example of how it's more expedient for customers oftentimes to connect. And it's still more expedient for small businesses to be able to reply to their customers because they don't have the staffing to manage call centers or, the phone. And oftentimes we don't want to be on the phone anymore when we could just give a direct answer very quickly. So we have provided links to places where you can learn more robust information about how to use Facebook pages, how to use Facebook groups, and how to use Messenger for Business. As I mentioned, it's very easy to create chatbots. People use groups for creating communities, and most people have a Facebook business page where they are sharing content and information with their customers. So that brings us to Instagram, which has become a new powerhouse for small businesses. It's a photo, video, and sharing platform. And what's Instagram is it's more creative and it's more personal. And so this is the place to relay the more social aspects you're doing and share your product and do so daily. And you can find out more about how to use Instagram effectively. LinkedIn is like the more professional platform for companies and job seekers. So this will be the place you want to relay your formal information, to relate your products and services, your company updates, to connect and create community, and also to connect with talent and increase your network. So thinking about LinkedIn as a place to, attract potential employees and things of that nature. And, when we instruct people about what to do with different platforms, think about the voice and the person that you are on each platform and how each platform is distinctly different. So LinkedIn has different types of users and they're looking for different things and they're looking for different posts. So the more informal post, not, is interested in seeing. They're interested more in company updates and knowing who you're employing and what you're doing. Whereas Facebook, it's more event sharing, more informal, and people want to relate you to information on Facebook in a more informal, and Instagram as well. They're much less likely to engage with you on Facebook if you present too much of a professional face, because of the nature of how they like to engage on that platform. So when you're thinking about content, it's really important to think about how users enjoy using the platform. Which brings us to YouTube. Obviously, that's a place where you can share videos. You can put your training information. If you entertaining things, news and updates, that could be a place where you create a channel. And and also just host your videos. So you don't have to host videos on just one platform, and that's the good news. You can actually create a video, put it on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. It seems laborious, but what that actually does is that increases your visibility. The more channels you have your content on, the more increased you have in your visibility, and that's what you want when you're a small business. So Twitter is like another social platform and a hub where customers are there both informally and formally. And obviously, like with Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, the demographic is anyone that's 18 and older. So thinking about your audience will be really important how you're using the platform. And many instances, small businesses sometimes put duplicative information from Facebook to Twitter, and they cater the message differently based on, Twitter has a limitation of how many characters you can use. So about that. Snapchat is a new location and platform that people are using. It's for a younger demographic. The majority of people on Snapchat are under 34. This is a place where businesses are having a lot of fun doing instant photo and video sharing. Enables you to capture, like when I worked at Facebook, we used things, stories and chat to cover the distance of our day and events, all the fun things were happening. Whereas like on Instagram, we were really careful about curating our content because we thought of it more as like a gallery, so to speak. So when you think of how you're sharing, like make sure you're thinking about like the instantaneous and the more casual photos you might be taking or sharing versus the more curated and professional images you want to create for a different look and feel. And with the link, we give more direction from how to use it. And there, obviously, the company's recommended, use cases for each business. TikTok is also super popular video sharing. One of my friends actually just got a product marketing position for creators on TikTok for small businesses. And so it's really interesting to see how each platform is expanding and also reaching specific audiences. And I'm sure at this point you're feeling kind of exhausted just with the thought of having to use all these platforms. You have to. You should just think about your audience and how it pertains to, and how each platform might reach or pertain more to your audience. So these are obviously more fun videos. A lot of using to share tips and tricks or informational video how-tos. So creating a space for your subject matter expert in your field is a great way to use these spaces. Follow Tracy Dempsey, Cupcake. She's in Phoenix. I love her cupcakes. She's amazing. But she also, I noticed on social media, she offers a lot of tips like decorate a cupcake. Not that I'd ever be able to do a cupcake like she can, but I appreciate being able to see that. And that's actually interesting and engaging content for me is just, that rote, repeated reminders. She thinks really hard about like what a customer might want to see or what might be fun for them. So the next thing that we're going to talk about, and I know I'm running through this rapidly because I want to make sure that I'm being respectful of time, is search engine optimization. So search engine optimization brings the visibility of your website and content to the search engine results pages. And honestly, this is a great way to get recognition for free, because oftentimes when people are looking at business, they're just putting search terms in Google. And what you want ideally is for your website to pop up and be #1 without having to pay for it. So there are two types of SEO. The first is organic and the second is paid. And so organic is basically they appear naturally on the page, and there's ways to optimize your site to ensure that it is producing, it's at the top of the search engine list. And then there's paid, and that's paid for search, where you pay search engines to show ads on their search engine result page. And there's different reasons why you would do each. Obviously, organic is always going to be the top priority. When it comes to paid search on a paid for click model, meaning that until someone clicks on your ad, you don't really pay for it. So, whether or not you use pay depends on your short or long-term goals, such as like, are you a business that's competing with page results from major online retailers or other competitors? Or maybe you're a business that needs more immediate leads, and that would be an instance where you want to pay versus using organic or social media. And so there are a variety of reasons why SEO is important, like it brings the awareness and traffic. It provides credibility. When people see that you have high reach, it speaks volumes about who you are. The cost, so it's more cost effective. It's one of the most cost effective ways to bring visibility to your company. And it improves your click-through rate. So when you have organic results, it generally generates more clicks when you're a highly listed organic site than paid. So people are actually more likely to click on a site that organically is higher up on the list of search terms. So, there are a variety of plugins if you're using WordPress that help you to optimize your site and walk you through the process. I would recommend Yoast SEO plugin for WordPress. And, some other places like Squarespace, they integrate SEO into their hosting process. So you don't have to worry about that as much. So, you know, the optimization basics, what are they looking for? Looking for relevancy of content, the quality of your content, the user experience. So they, it needs to be easily able to be navigated in an easy manner, a searchable site, and have internal linking. The speed of your site actually factors into your SEO. Is it compatible with devices? So you want to have a responsive web design. And once again, internal linking, making sure that there's easy navigation in your site. Always having descriptions and title tags in your content and in your images as well. So creating a title for the alt attribute for any uploaded images. And then registering for local SEO like Google My Business and listing all the information that would be relevant. And then having a social media presence on all relevant channels will actually increase your SEO. And making sure you have clear headlines for your articles under 55 characters so they can be viewed in the search engine. So now we're going to be moving on to the digital marketing, which is, you know, covers a lot about how to engage on social media. So, you know, the great part about digital marketing is that through advertising, it enables you to reach people you would never be able to reach and target them specifically toward goals. So, you know, prior to digital media marketing, it was, you know, a one-to-one, and now it's a many-to-many, because now you can share an ad on Facebook or LinkedIn, and through likes and comments, it creates visibility of that content to many people. The average person, they say, would have about 250 contacts on Facebook. And so just through their engagement of your ad, it brings visibility to many other folks. And as they engage in your ad, it increases your reach. So the more people that engage with your content, more people that are likely to see it. And it also creates what social media platforms called lift, meaning they will lift your content the more engagement there is. So, you know, obviously with social media, you can help you reach more people than traditional media. It raises awareness, you can activate supporters, and you can actually make money through many of their e-commerce options. So to give you an example, I was assisting another small business and helping them with their events. And just through literally $25 to $50, $100 ads just for the event, I tripled their event attendance, brought awareness to their pages, and increased their fundraisers. So you don't have to spend a lot of money with advertising to get that reach. And what's great about social media is that you can target your audience, meaning you're directing it through search, through keywords, and through the demographic data to say, like, this is the person that's most likely to be interested in my product. And that way your money is not being wasted on those that don't want to see it, would be less likely to engage with it. And that's what you want, and you're going to get the most bang for your buck. So, you know, like we with traditional media, you publish once, you might reach many, you control distribution. And with social media, cost decreases as engagement increases. So the goal for social media is to create really interesting ad content that would be engaging and relevant. And once you do so, your cost decreases. So the things that you want to think about when you're thinking about social media to market your product is you want to think about that marketing strategy, like what are your mission and goals, what'll help you decide, that'll help you decide your marketing strategy, and what kinds of campaigns will work best. Create advertising goals. Like a great example would be to think about events and things that are important for you as a company, rollout of new products and services, or targeting specific demographics that you need to reach. Then decide your budget. Understanding what your budget is helps you to understand like what you can do monthly or what you can do in like sometimes single shots. As a small business owner a long time ago, I used Facebook actually to increase my business. I owned a photography studio. I actually made all my business goals. Not only did I set my ads budget, but I set how many people I wanted to reach with that budget. And then I set how much revenue I expected to this, the return on all of the work that I did. And so it's really important, like for instance, as a small studio, I was thinking, okay, I want to reach 100 people. I'm going to estimate maybe 5 of those people are going to engage or interact with me in the manner that I want. And this is the amount of money I want on return of it. And so say throw in $100 on an ad, I would get maybe 200 people engaging with that ad. I would 15 calls, and through that I would get maybe 5 appointments that actually followed through. And so that $100 ad wound up being $1,500 to $2,000 in business. And that's what we call the return on investment. So you want to create inspiring content. You want to create relevant content. If you, are, like I said, a photography studio, I planned my calendar. You want to have a social media calendar and thinking about what you're planning and why, and what kind of content would be relevant. So for fall, a good example would be I'm creating content around the family photo portrait. That is the thing that everyone does at fall. And so that's when I'm going to offer the sales. That's when I would be offering, like putting the ads out and making sure I was getting it in a timely manner so they got the ad and were able to engage with it and plan. And that's another thing you need to think about, is making sure it's timely enough so that understanding that people activate and they think, and it usually takes a little bit of time to get ROI. So you want to make sure that they've seen that ad weeks in advance, in particular of like seasonal promotions and events. So obviously, like, we know why you want to use ads to gain supporters. It's not only to reach your current clientele, which you can use on these social media channels, it's to increase your reach and create more clients or people or visibility. And knowing that you can actually run the same ads on both platforms. So what's great about this is you can create the ad for Instagram and Facebook, and through tools, it actually distributes it and intelligently distributes it to the correct audience. It's really just about creating the same ad. And the same thing would go for, say, LinkedIn or Twitter. Now, obviously, you want to be strategic about what platforms you're using and why when you're creating ads. You are going to do different ads on LinkedIn because people are there for different reasons. And so sometimes you want to have the same ad on Facebook and Instagram, and sometimes you don't. It just depends on like what your audience type is and what the product or service or information you're relaying is. So make sure you're always strategic, that your ad is meeting people where they are and why they're on the platform. Because the more strategic you are about their experience, the higher likelihood of their engagement. So, there are strategies to make your ads and posts more successful on these platforms. So when you think about, reporting and diagnostics, you always want to be reviewing that reporting to understand how your ad did. And what's really great about these platforms is mid-ad, as it's being distributed, it allows you to change gears, meaning you can go, this ad isn't working, I'm going to cut it. This ad isn't working, I'm going to change the photo. Or this ad isn't working, I'm changing the description. I've done that many times when I've helped other people with their advertising, where I might change as simple as the title, making it a catchy title, changing the photo, and have been surprised at how simple changes like that have like redirected the ad and made it more successful. So looking at the diagnostic tools that they provide as the ad is in progress is important. And what you begin to do is you actually really get a sense for your audience. And this is the fabulous thing about social media, is the data. You're able to really understand, wow, they're really connecting with this. No, they're not really connecting with this. And what's interesting is that there's a lot of things you might learn more online about your clientele than you would in person, because they wouldn't share, right? Because people give you a lot of informal cues on social media, And that data that's coming in is a lot of those informal cues that are really important about helping you to even make your business better, things you didn't know about what they want or what they like more. So you want to keep optimizing that content. You want to, put it out there. You want to test again, and you want to repeat. So if things are working, you want to know why they're working, and you want to prove upon that model. And then you want to boost your content. So some pieces of content, they're not ads, they might be event. And that's a situation where you pay $15, you pay $50. It depends on the amount of people that you'd want to reach and the locations you want to reach them. And it's more likely to reach them. And so thinking about how it's not just selling your product and services, it's supplying that visibility, engaging with them on many different levels. That's actually important. It's about making yourself visible to them. So, Instagram is very similar in that fashion. And, the one thing that I would say is just to be very careful with Instagram because it's a place where people enjoy spending time, and it's a photo sharing app. So the one piece of advice that I would give you is make sure you have really good content. If it's buying a stock image, if it's, there's a lot of places where you can purchase great graphics, do that. Don't underestimate the value of how the content itself is going to impact their perception of you and also how they engage with you. Because as we all know, it can go both ways. They can either engage and feel good about what they're seeing, or they can unfollow the ad, and that's something you don't want. So there are also best practices on here, and just because I'm noticing that we're running out of time, I'll let you go through that and move on to the reporting, which I've kind of mentioned before. So you can create custom reports and schedule those reports to understand your ad performance. And then you can do the type of reporting for comparison. So like you can compare audiences and see which audiences responded better and which ad responded to different audiences. So essentially, like if you have a very broad audience, you would probably want to do different ads for different audiences. The younger generation, your ad should look a lot different than it would to a much older generation. And so catering your content to your audience is going to make your advertising more effective. You can have a single ad and a single reason for that ad, but changing the content to accommodate the audience and also the delivery is, like when it's delivered and what platform. Like if I was going to be doing an ad for people younger than 30, I'm going to only be doing Instagram ads. But if I'm doing it for people that are over 50 or 45, I'm actually be doing only Facebook ads, right? Because that's where these folks like to hang the most. And that's another thing you need to consider. Where is your audience spending the most time? Because the place that they're spending the most time is the place that you want to be distributing that information. You don't want to be throwing tons of money into advertising for younger folks on Facebook when on Instagram, they're on Snapchat, they're on TikTok. And so Business Manager, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter all have a business manager. And what's really great is they keep increasing their products, and it's basically a one-stop shop. You can do so much of the labor, even creating content now in these spaces and things like creative videos. So you can have event, a catalog, your ads, your business manager. And, I've come to understand that like Facebook is now rolling out a feature about subscribers for people to pay to see better content on your page. And it's a hub that you should learn in order to understand like how to create all your content and manage it. So, obviously we go through Business Manager. It gives you, why would you use Business Manager versus each product's Business Manager versus like Hoots? Well, one, it's more affordable. Like you can pay for these products that put all of the management of social media into one single platform. But the reality is it's very expensive. It is limited in its tools, and you don't get the same amount of data. And also it's about privacy and security. So when you're thinking about things like that, like, you know, many large companies will use what they call a CRM platform where they're they're managing their social media across many different channels. They also pay a lot of money to do that. LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter and Google now all have their own tools so that you can manage them separately. I'm going to run through this, and this is something that you can review later because it just really breaks down in more detail, like all the different things that that business manager can do. Ads manager is very similar to business manager. So this breaks down like all the different ways that you can use their tools. So monetization is actually something that people often miss, and it's a great way to make money without really actually doing anything. It's really just leveraging the internet and audiences to make money. So there's a variety of different ways that you can make money. There's ads revenue, there are affiliates, and then there are sponsors. So a perfect example of ads revenue is Google monetization. They enable people to make money off your websites through ads placement. So if you have a blog or website, signing Google AdSense will pay to run ads on your site, and your content towards the type of ads shown on your page will increase the likelihood that they'll click on the ad. Why would anyone do this? Well, you could do this if you have other businesses that complement your business. Say you're a service and there's other businesses that offer products. That would be a situation where using Google AdSense enables you to like redirect people towards those other products. So you can have like affiliates, for instance, or you can even have sponsors. So it's a way to revenue without actually, it actually being about your business. It's using your space and it's using your audience. So Facebook has multiple monetization outlets. It has in-stream ads on videos. So as you're creating all of these videos for these sites, the interesting thing is if you enable ads, you can make money. Obviously, the amount of money you make is based on engagement. So there's an incentivization there. When the better the content you create, the more interesting and relevant the content you create, the higher likelihood you have a bigger audience and more engagement. Bigger audience, more engagement equals more money. It also means more visibility. So just creating good content that is relevant to people, that attracts people to your business, it reaps rewards in every single way. It increases that reach on SEO. It increases your followers and your engagement on all these social media platforms. And now, once you've done that, you've also created a situation where leveraging the audience enables you to make money. And then that comes to fan subscriptions. So Facebook in locations are offering subscriptions to allow supporters to subscribe to pages monthly in payments. And so you can give exclusive content to your clients and have personal interactions or even a supporter badge, and then they pay for that extra level of service. And then branded content. This enables you to partner with others and then come up with business relationships where one is paying the other for visibility. So this would be a situation where you might pay someone else because they have more followers and you have more visibility, or vice versa. If you are a small business that just happens to have a lot of followers, someone might want to pay you for that visibility as well. And off Facebook, we have Audience Network, which actually extends that advertising beyond Facebook platforms. So with Audience Networks, publishers can make money by showing ads from Facebook advertisers in their ads. So it means whatever's off Facebook, Facebook takes the audience and data and then says, now those ads that are getting money are actually getting money because of that data, and then that money is going back to you. And you can learn more and go to each of these links and find out more details about how to sign up, how to utilize the platforms, and then how to make money. And YouTube monetization is very similar in their products and features, which are related to video. Have a merchandise shelf now where you can brand your merchandise and show it on your page. You have YouTube Premium, where you allow subscription, and then advertising revenue as well, where you get ads for your videos, and then channel memberships. And to give you an idea of sometimes the kind of money that can be made, I have another friend, he was from Facebook, now he works at Google. He loves video gaming. And he's very good at like speaking to an audience, and so he actually games online on Facebook Live. And now he has 80,000 followers, I think, and I believe he makes he's already made $12,000. And this is just something he does for fun. So just through subscriptions and people following him on Facebook, just watching him play video games, he's made $12,000. And he's on there for like 30 minutes to an hour. I see him and I'll see him on my timeline. And what's interesting is I've commented just because I know, I'm like, oh, this is funny or whatever. And then other people I know have seen it and started following him. So that's the amazing thing about that. So how could you use that if you're not in video gaming? You know, if you are, for food service, a restaurant, that would be a great situation where you're teaching someone how to make something like a recipe, and then you're creating a subscription process. And I've seen, like, there's some Italian chef on Facebook that my mom loves, and he's making a ton of money on Facebook, honestly, just making videos on how to make different Italian dishes. So that brings us to audience. And I've mentioned audience quite a bit through this entire process, and how important it is to target the right audience for your business in everything you do, whether it's obviously your website's the one-stop shop, but each channel has its different audience. And then obviously each piece of content should be directed towards your audience. And, you know, really understanding your audience is important, that you can target them. So there's so many different channels, like the PPC, like SMS, like mobile. Each platform, the platform is also considered to be an audience. Some people are mobile only and some people are desktop. So thinking about how that content is relayed on their platform is another part of the experience. So that's one of the first things that you should do, really, is understand your audience before you're creating your sitemap and before you're creating your brand and your content, is really thinking about who is the audience you want to reach and why. And when you're targeting them, how do you want to connect with them and build that relationship? And so you can do so through researching and creating audience personas, and thinking about their demographics, their psychographics, and their technographics, like they use technology and why. So who is, you know, if you're doing an older demographic, think hard about what are the platforms they're really going to be using when they're engaging with your content. The younger generation, probably just mobile. And so thinking about like those types of experiences are really important. Once again, these are the various different types of demographics that are really important. Income is really important. If you are a high-end business that, you know, like as a portrait studio, you know, the, you know, entry into an hour session was $200. When I did my ads targeting, I only targeted people that made $80,000 or more. Why? Because I wanted to reach an audience that was most likely to be able to afford that level of service. And so that's the kind of thing that you want to be thinking about, where they're living, what's their marital status, their education, their language. Languages are really important. When I assisted the Jewish community, just putting in Hebrew as a language increased the lift and the turnout for our events. So I'm going to be moving through, we're almost at time. You can continue through this presentation where it talks about reach and frequency, of how to reach your audience and the frequency at which they like to be reached, and how they're related to a customer's engagement with your content, or an audience's relation to your content. And I think we've covered all the platforms and the different ways that you'd like to engage with them on social media. Which brings us to our last module, which is data privacy. And so, you know, this is a really important issue because most consumers say that they actually expect the business to protect their privacy. So in many of these platforms, data privacy is baked in, but you really want to be careful, especially with things like your website, like the information you're collecting, it is considering their data privacy and that your platform is secure and is not going to compromise their data privacy. So their data privacy includes social media activity, medical information, credit card information, and IP address. So the different types of data online is browser data, device data, location data, website activity data, and also personal data. And as we all know, when companies are hacked and it compromises people in many different ways. And so really thinking through like that web experience and the platforms they're using and the type of information you're asking them is really important. And so this actually just reviews like the privacy rights and the things that they like to control. And also considering the type of sophistication of a lot of these products and how you're using them. And so you might want to be a company that really discloses like how you're using their data and why, or how you're protecting their data. Because ultimately someone out there will always be trying to mine that data and sell it or hack into your customers' systems. So as I mentioned, customers are concerned about their data privacy and risks. The United States, you know, doesn't have a federal law to protect customers, so it really is on platforms and small businesses. And that goes down, let's go to data privacy laws, because the data privacy laws in America really depend on where you live. There is no federal law. Internationally, there is a law called GDPR, which is based in Europe, and that protects data privacy. And that's actually really important for you to know if you're going to be, you know, reaching clientele that are in different locations. That means that you have to abide by those international laws. So that's why data privacy laws are so important. Or if you're in Arizona, it's fine. And if there are no data privacy laws, but if you have a customer in California, that's not the case. So because you're on the internet, you have to understand how compliance with these data privacy laws is really important. So we have a little map here, which I wanted to go to, that helps you to understand what happened to the map. You know, what the laws are and where they're located. So we have California, we have Nevada, Senate bill that's amendment to the state, and we have Maine right now as Maine privacy laws. And then this is a list of what other states are doing at a glance, just right to delete, right to access, or right to correct. And then we have a map that has hotspots, and it also gives you an idea of what they're working on right now, because right now this is something that is evolving across the nation. So just always keep that at the top of your head, that things are always changing, and try to be cognizant of that. And this goes through the GDPR at the very end of this lesson. I'm going to pause right now because we're at 9:58. It was a lot of information, and so I'm going to, you know, for any questions right now, I'm going to answer them. And I can't see.
So Brittany, we have a couple questions in the question and answer box.
Okay, great.
David asks, do you expect websites to incorporate a separate section related to COVID-19? And if so, what is the effective way for evolving on this post-pandemic? Is there a way to track COVID-19 effects to the business via a website?
I think that's a really good question. You know, I don't know of any right now. I do think it's important to relay any COVID information to your clients. Like if you have in-person things in your store, you should be relaying like you have to wear a mask or any other things that you need your clients to know, like staying 6 feet apart. If you've changed to delivery, and are now offering delivery services. Those are the kind of things that I would think that are important to offer, not just on your page, but on social media. And ultimately, like, what's really happening right now is COVID has actually created a pronounced shift for many businesses from in-person to online and to rethink their strategies. How, you know, COVID affects businesses, I would say, is up to each individual business and based on, you know, how they're shifting their business to accommodate.
Okay, there's another question from Matt. Said, I have had real problems getting Google AdWords up and running. They have no phone support due to COVID, but my brand new ad account isn't being approved and can only be approved through phone support. The online support form just goes, you know, goes unanswered. Any suggestions, any secret phone numbers you could suggest?
Yeah, this is the most frustrating thing I think about social media companies is they don't have a lot of times phone support. I do know I have used Google Ads and I have used phone support, and the funny thing is I Googled Google phone support to find it because it wasn't readily available. They hide it in their site, I think. And it didn't give you a reason for why it wasn't. Oh, it's only approved through phone support. I have had this issue where like there's a gap in how they reach customers. Like I think like I was supposed to get a code to get my business on Google and it kept arriving at my physical address. So my suggestion, which seems like a silly one, but it's actually really relevant, is to Google it and to find a number, because I do know there is a number. I have called it for the exact same reason. And I was able to have a conversation with an actual person. Google AdWords, yes, they do have a number.
All right. Well, thank you for answering those questions we had. We appreciate the attendees being here, and we really appreciate Brittany for sharing this content. The link that we shared early on in the presentation takes you to the presentation, the learning website, the learning session. And you can go back through that when you want. You can click on it and save it and go back through it later. It is a learning course. So feel free to access that. We will post that link on our website as well. So you can go back and review the video and follow through at a later date if you want. Or if you just want to go back and review the learning modules. But again, Brittany, we appreciate you coming on and sharing this information with us and sharing this learning lesson. And we just want to do one last reminder for Friday's session, Friday 9 a.m. We got another great bootcamp session set up, so please go to the bootcamp website and register for that. And with that, we will wrap up for today, and we will see you on Friday. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.